All right, guys, welcome to our first Alliance game. So a lot of people did jump into the Alliance, and and what happened was I got challenged by this other Alliance here, and kind of had to pull together whoever showed up first. So if you're in the Alliance, and I hope you are, and you got passed over this time, I do apologize. It really was just sort of a last minute, let's go kind of thing. We can organize more pre-planned games in the future. One thing I have learned is that I can arrange inter-alliance games, which means they're sort of practice games. They're not official alliance games in terms of tournament play, but we can have practice on these tournament maps and practice in this alliance play, but it would just be people from our alliance in those games. So I'm looking into that. I want to put together a couple of those. I probably won't cast those, but that's where I feel like can be a bit of a proving ground and see who's interested, who stays in the game. As you can see, this looks like a pretty small map. I mean, there's room here for 10 major countries, and then probably another 10 sort of minor side countries. I'm not sure who Greenland starts out with. Denmark. Okay. So this is Denmark. This up here is Sweden, and over here, Denmark as well. Okay. So very interesting. That's good to know. So here's how it's breaking down. The 5 of us are Popcat, Power, Carried, Harcold, and I. And I like where we started, although I think the other team is who set up the map and decided which side is which. This does look like those central versus, what's the other word? I can't remember, and I'm not going to worry about it. But, you know, you get on those challenge maps that are not alliance games, and it's always two sort of alliances against each other. Well, they're not alliances, but they're already sort of predetermined teams. And for whatever reason, they chose this one. Now, here's what I'm thinking, and I talked to my team about this on Discord, is I like that Popcat is under no immediate threat at all. He is completely safe back here in the backcountry. I like that because, to me, that allows him to gather troops and send them on little murder sprees, and, you know, to wherever he wants. He's a pirate, god damn it. And so he can approach some of these coastal territories. I noticed down over here we do have the Ottoman Empire is one of our specific enemies. Via Silao. Via Silao. Yeah. I don't know what Silao is. Anyway, so here's what I'm loving. Power doesn't have to worry about his back. He can move all of his forces, like literally all of them, with, you know, some exceptions. You know, if I was him, I would send a guy out here into the ocean to watch for anybody approaching. But the thing about the ocean is, if you send a couple guys out here, anybody who's coming close, if you're paying attention, you can run guys back way faster than they can travel through the water. Just remember, in the water, they are slow. I believe infantry travel at 21 in the water. Let's just check. Why the heck not? In the water, see, at some point in my future, I will have this stuff down. It's 21. Okay. Oh, I did have it down. I won't even have to check because I'll be that smart. So anyway, I'm thinking Power can bring everything. You can see he's sending out people into to scout. In fact, everybody is. That's making me happy. Both enemy and ally are sending people out into the waters. You can see I'm sending 2 out here to kind of pay attention to what's going on over here. He's sending out a guy as well to pay attention to what's going on with me. Smart. Over here, same deal. I'm not worried about Sweden over here. Denmark, sorry. Because I'm thinking Sweden over here. Because Denmark is not a player character. Denmark is AI, and I've already shared vision with him, and my popularity is not terrible. It's 77. So remember, if your popularity is relatively high, you do not have to worry about those AI. The only thing you do have to worry about is somebody using the AI, if they happen to have right of way with them, using them to attack through them into you. So that is of concern, but early in the game, it's not. So I'm loving this. And so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Popcat gets to do whatever the heck he wants. I hope he sends some people maybe to help Power over here to put pressure on France. He could potentially send some pirates over here, because whatever this guy does, I feel like he's going to try to push up into sort of this region and maybe give me some grief up here. Or, conversely, he's got some scouts out on the sea. He could potentially also, he could push out through the water as well. So Popcat's got some interesting things to conceive of, to think of. But I do love where Power of Us is. I think he knows now that in this game, you don't mess around with the AI unless you absolutely have to. And some people think it's worth taking those territories so that you can have the extra infantry production and the extra resources. And maybe it is, but a lot of us have sort of learned it's best just to leave them alone and fight actual countries, So I've given up. In my early days, in my youth, I would attack those guys and take them early, because there's only 1 or 2 or 3 territories, in this case 4 for Portugal over here, and over here too, right? That's Portugal as well. So more for Portugal. But anyway, you could take it pretty easily. But I've since learned I want to keep high popularity because I want those trade deals. I want to be able to buy resources and not be ripped off. So that's kind of the new thinking. And that's honestly thanks to Papa Smitty, who entered our community and sort of raised our level of awareness quite substantially. So what we have here is, to me, Power of Us is in a good position. He can stock up here against this front. He can apply pressure to France, keeping France from being too active here in Central Europe. Meanwhile, I love where Harcold is. I've played this from both sides. This is a hot gates kind of situation. If you're familiar with 300, there's only one territory that allows entrance into all the backcountry, and that's true for both sides. That's true for France, and it's true from Germany. So France can stack this territory heavily, and Germany can stack this territory heavily as well. So what I told Harcold is when you're in that kind of situation, just build a fort here and maybe stack 20 people, and then he doesn't have to worry about anything over here. Belgium's not a threat, and he doesn't have to worry about over here. What is this down here? This is Belgium again. So again, as long as Belgium is your friend, he now essentially has one territory, one front. Now, obviously, he's got to keep some people back here, but not a lot, because again, naval invasions, those aquatic invasions, they're tricky. It takes them a long time to get there. Then it takes them a long time to get out of water. You can readjust easily. Now, again, we don't have to worry about Poland. Poland is AI. So these guys, if he wants, and I'm not going to dictate how he plays, obviously, because Harcold is a great player. But again, we talk about this idea of who can you leave behind and who do you bring to gather into a large and mighty hammer that you're going to smash into people. And so let's talk about that. I feel like Italy is in a tight spot. Italy is between, he's the only guy. Well, not the only guy. I was going to say Harcold has 2 fronts as well. So he's not the only guy with 2 fronts, but he and Harcold do have 2 fronts, which is why, as far as I'm concerned, we kind of need to team up on someone. We need to bully someone. And so my thinking is this: if Power and Popcat can put pressure on France and cause France to push his stuff down to here, and if Harcold can just man the hot gates here, and his little 300, or I think just 15 and a fort would do, can hold this, then Popcat can essentially have a one-front war, whereas France is going to have to stack his own hot gates here and is going to have to be dealing with pressure from the south, from Spain and Morocco down here. So it seems like a great situation for us. Maybe I'm delusional. What I feel like over here is I only have one front as well, and I am going to put the pressure on Austria-Hungary over here. Now, you say, well, you have more than one front, and it's true. I do have a peripheral front up here, but look at that long and winding way around that Sweden has to come by. And also you can see I'm putting 15 guys up here and you guessed it, a fortress. So feeling pretty good about that. Again, I'm going to keep my eye out, probably bring another guy up into this nice large waterway here. In fact, let's get that ball rolling right now. And so one thing I did want to talk about as well, this is a big feature of this game, is all parties have agreed that we are not using gold mark. And the opposing opposing alliance seems pretty serious about that. They've mentioned it several times. So I think they're kind of like us. They view gold marks as a corrupting influence. I'm playing in another game, which, by the way, if you're not in Power's game, Power of Us's game, he's got a subscriber game going. And if you want to find him, he's on our Discord channel as well. Just hit him up and figure out what that is, because there's still slots available in that game. Anyway, I had a guy early on. He was being attacked from the north, and I saw that. I could tell. And so I was like, let's go. I'm attacking through the back. And he had one territory that had no fort on it. So I already had gathered, I think, 30 guys. I sent in 30, and then I sent 20 more in after them. I sent them in flower style so that each stack of 5 would deliver maximum power. And I went to sleep thinking, all right, I'm going to wake up and I'll have that territory. And then, because I timed it out pretty carefully. And so after I wake up, I'll gather them back, because when you do the flower, all your guys end up outside of the town, except for I usually send one into the town. But you gather them back together again after you do that. So I woke up in the morning, and lo and behold, there is a level 2 fort that's been bombed down to a level 1, and not bombed, but, from my attack. And there are 7 armored cars. 7 armored cars. Okay, so originally there was, I think, 7 infantry there and no fort. I go to sleep. I wake up, make a calculated attack at a vulnerable place with strategy and knowledge of the game, and wake up to find out that this MFer has spammed 2 or maybe 3 levels of fort. I'm not sure, because it's down to 1.5 now because of my 40 guys. Yeah, 40 guys died screaming. And then I don't know how many armored cars, because he had 7, but maybe he had like 10 and some of them died. I don't know. He had like 7 armored cars and I think like 10 guys left. So it was just like, or maybe, no, it was more like 7 armored cars and 5 guys. So anyway, the reason I'm saying all this is, people are like, well, you can earn gold marks in the game and it's part of the game. And yeah, it is. But like, look, those of us who watch videos and we win games and we earn gold marks, we use them for little stuff. Like, when you capture a territory, you can use your gold marks to bring it from 25 morale up to 33 morale, which means you don't have to leave people behind. The territory won't rebel to you. That's sort of minor tweaking that can kind of just tune up your game a little bit. And it feels like in that way, it kind of feels like something that is an enhancement to the game. Look, you won some games and you watch the stupid videos. And so you get to kind of fine tune your game a little bit. But in that kind of situation, it's like, if somebody's willing to spend $100 on this game, then I don't know what to say. Like, in that situation, I was just like, well, this game's ruined for me. And normally I wouldn't care. I would just archive it and go on to something else. But this is Power of Us's first subscriber game over on his channel. And, if you don't know Power of Us, he's a cool guy, and he also casts. He's a YouTuber. He casts his games as well. And he's a young guy and he's getting his feet and, he's figuring things out. And so I want to be in that game. And so what I'm doing now is I've reached out to the freaking spammer, and I established peace with him, and I'm playing it nice. But, it's like, and I've said this before, I just wish that Bytro would make a game version where, let's say it costs $5 to join the game, right? I would do that. Like, I want them to make money. This is a great game. They've done a great job. It's a fantastic game. It's a great platform. The interface is great. You can tell that this has been going for over a decade, and the fine tuning continues to this day. So they need to get paid. I'm all about that. But please, Bytro. So I'm going to have to get 100,000 YouTube followers before, and I'll get power. Once I have power, I'm going to reach out to Bytro. And so everybody, please subscribe. I'm going to reach out to Bytro and say, look, there is a way for you to make money because people are willing to pay for gold mark free games. Now, why do I mention that? Because this is going to be a gold mark free game. As I've mentioned, our opponents have been very upfront and serious about it. So let's just go ahead and look at the newspaper. We can see some of this stuff over here. Thank you for the initiative. Remember, please don't use gold marks. Let's make it a fair game. And over here, Italy, another one of our opponents, thrilled to have a no GM game. And I can speak for all of my allies, all of my alliance mates, that we feel the same way too. So I went ahead and responded. Here's a picture of me. The most glorious and mighty lord of smacks, wallops, and whacks, the high king of canings and slappings and beltings, the most illustrious master of hot bottoms and ass whoopings and switch lickings, greets you all. And then I got serious. Our alliance looks forward to that rare and wonderful thing, a true contest of skill and knowledge, free from the corrupting influence of gold marks. Here's to an honorable, enjoyable game for all. So it turns out that, we could still use gold marks. There's the button. It's still there. But I'm just going to hope for the best. I really am. I'm not going to rush a single goddamn thing. And I told to my teammates too, I was like, even if you're tempted to use it for minor things like morale, when you're conquering through, don't do it. If we lose this game and it's because we didn't use gold marks and they did, then we didn't lose. You know what I'm saying? Like we played our game, and we should be able to determine what's going on and be cool with it. So anyway, thanks for joining us up. I'm glad to have you on board. This is going to be a fun game, gold mark free, ladies and gentlemen. So check back with us. I'll see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.